All right, this is 8th grade, Module 4, Lesson 31. This is the last lesson of Module 4. We have made it to the end. This is a great lesson because it's exactly where we're going in our next module. We're going to start talking about Pythagorean Theorem. Now, before we get into Pythagorean Theorem, you need to know about the Pythagorean Triples. All right, so there's a couple things we need to kind of explain to make this make more sense. So here we go. It says identify two Pythagorean triples using the known triple 3, 4, 5 other than 6, 8, 10. So I can't use 6, 8, 10. So a triple is basically a 3, 4, 5 scale, and you'll see how this works out when we start building our right triangles. But you're going to take a 3, 4, 5, and you're going to multiply each by the same number. So you can see that they multiplied these over here by 2s. So I can multiply by 3s. We can say 9, 12, and 15. That's multiplied by 3. And then I can also say 12, 16, and 20. That's being multiplied by 4. All right, what if I picked another one of 5, 12, and 13? Well, I could say 10, 24, 26, that's being multiplied by 2. And I could say 15, 36, 39, and that's being multiplied by 3. All right, I'm going to let you go ahead and do number 3, and then I will work with you on number 4. Number 4 says, we're going to set up this system of equations that they have up here in the directions for you. We're going to plug in 4 for S, and we're going to plug in 5 for T. So let's create our systems of equations here. So I'm going to have X plus Y equals 5 over 4, and X minus Y equals 4 over 5. So there's my system. Now I can see right away that I could get rid of some y's, cancel those out, and I get 2x equals 5 fourths, and we just add these together, plus 4 fifths. Well, my denominator is not the same, so I need to change that. So I'm going to multiply this whole fraction by 5 and this whole fraction by 4. So I wind up with 2x equals 25 over 20, plus 16 over 20. And now I have common denominators. I can go ahead and add those up. So, by the way, you're going to need to write small for this entire lesson. It was a lot of work. So I'm going to say 2x equals 41 over 20. I'm going to divide by 2. Those cancel. Now remember, when you divide by 2 and you have a fraction, you actually multiply by its reciprocal. So this will be 41 over 20 times 1 over 2. Checking my diagonals, there's nothing I can really do, so I just multiply straight across. And my final answer is x equals 41 over 40. That's just my x. So I'll give you a second to write that down because I have to erase to write my y, which is why I said you either want to attach a piece of paper here for your work or just write really small. All right, so now I'm going to take that number and I'm going to plug it into one of these equations up here so I can find the y. I'm just going to pick the first one. So we're going to say 41 40ths plus y equals 5 over 4. All right, so we're going to subtract 41 40ths. That cancels. And I wind up with y equals this. Now, I'm going to make my denominator be out of 40, so I'm going to multiply this whole fraction by 10. So I'm going to get 50 over 40 minus 41 over 40. And so my y equals 9 40ths. So there's my two answers for this problem. So what's my triple then? If you notice, I'm just going to rewrite our x up here. My x was 41 over 40. What do they have in common? They both have the 40. You see that? They both have a 40. All right, what's the other numbers? there's a 9, and there's a 41. So what's my triple? My triple is 9, 40, and 41. And that's it. That's your final answer. So you need all 3 of these for this one. So each answer is a point. All right, let's try 5. Now we're just going to change our S and T's. Same format, just changing the S and the T. So here we go. I have, again, write small. I have x plus y equals 10 over 7. X minus y equals 7 over 10. There's my system. Just like before, I can cancel my y's, and I get 2x equals 10 over 7 plus 7 over 10. Need a common denominator. So I'm going to multiply this by 10 and multiply this by 7. So I wind up with 2x equals 100 over 70 plus 49 over 70. Add those together. I'm going to move my work up here. I then get 2x equals 149 over 70. And I'm going to divide that by 2. And as you remember, we multiplied by its reciprocal. So I'm just going to go ahead and flip it now. And I wind up with x equals 149 over 140. Because nothing worked for my diagonals. That's a 140. So there's one of my answers. Now I'm going to plug that back into the problem. I'm just going to go ahead and pick the top one again. So I'm going to say 149 over 140 plus y equals 10 over 7. So subtract this out. Those cancel. And I wind up with y equals, now I'm going to multiply this by 20 so I can get a common denominator, 200 over 140 minus 149 over 140. And so my final answer here is y equals 51 over 140. All right, so you have one number in common, that's the 140. So when I go to write my final answer here, my triple, and that's how you're going to label it, is triple. You're going to write, and I typically write in number order. So you're going to say 51, 140, 149. And there's your final. All right, I'm going to have you guys do number 6. That one will be one that I grade. And then I will do one on the back, one of the sets on the back, and then you will finish the back. So go ahead and pause the video and do number 6. Okay, number 7. I wanted to set this up for you. It says use a calculator to verify that you found the Pythagorean triple for each of the problems we just solved. So we solved one triple. The very first one was a 9, a 40, and a 41. So we're going to verify that. And how we verify is we use the Pythagorean Theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So we're going to plug these values in. So this will be just my A, my B, and my C. We just kind of go right in alphabetical order there. So I'm going to say 9 squared plus 40 squared equals 41 squared. Now that's not times 2, that's squared, so don't make that mistake. So this is 81 plus 1600 equals 1681. All right. If I combine these two, I get 1681 equals 1681. So yes, I did find a true triple. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to do the last two. We found a 51, 140, and a 149, and then your answer from 6. So again, A, B, and C, solve both of these out, and those two will be graded as well. And that is the end of this video.